Good day, welcome back to my neck of the woods. My name is Dika and I'm here to share my experiences and my knowledge, hoping to lessen your learning curve along the way. So today I'm going to do kind of a follow-up review on a previous review, the SpyPoint MicroLink cell camera. My previous review was based upon my experiences after 1 year. And I really had no problems. I did have one problem where it lost communication, but I had an excellent experience with customer service, and they said that they were working on the cell towers, and that was the only problem. Only problem I had. Until this camera got about 3 years old. So my other review is 1 year out, going on to my second season. Now I'll be going on to my fourth season with this camera, and it does not work anymore. And I'll tell you what happened with it. So halfway through last year, which was my third season with this camera, it wouldn't get a signal, or if it did get a signal, it was really lagged, and like it would send them. Normally all my other cameras, which are not as old as this one, my other ones will be coming up on their third year, and one on their second year. It would kind of lag, where normally they send them every 3 minutes or every 4 minutes. Sometimes it would take half a day, up to 6 or 12 hours to send a picture. I did call customer service, and they said there was nothing wrong with the camera. They weren't working on these cell towers. There was no issues on their end. It was just the camera getting old and malfunctioning. So I bought another antenna, and that didn't really work. Maybe it worked a little bit, and even on the app, when I had the app on my phone, it always read that there was zero signal. And it would say that the batteries were, whatever the batteries were, if they were 100 or 50 or 25, it would say that they were. But it slowly started not to work. And if you can see this one has been left out year-round for upwards of 3 years. There's wear and tear and sap on it. And I suspect that what happened is whatever seal that this has on the inside, it failed, because there's inside, it's difficult to get out, and there's corrosion on the connections, there's corrosion on the battery connections, and there's corrosion on the inside on the connections here. I tried like heck to clean them out, but it was either too late to do it, or the malfunction got into the camera itself. Like I said, customer service had nothing for me. They just said, you know, that's sort of the shelf life of these cameras. Now, part of my review here is to say whether or not it's worth it. I have had like Wild Game Innovation cameras. I currently use a camera that I really, really like by a company called Blaze now, and they do video, excuse me, video and pictures. And it's there's playback inside the camera, and I really like those cameras. But they're a quarter to half the price of this. Now this retails for I think $149.99, and it lasted me 3 years. Is that worth it to me? Yes and no. I mean, so I'm paying upwards of anywhere from $5 to $15 a month, depending on how many pictures I get and how much of the plan. And I spent $150 for it. I found that the camera itself is very, very useful. What I would do is I would use it to deer hunting mostly. I would use it to locate deer, especially during season. If I wanted to change a stand or sit in a different location, or I would put one of these cameras up right in front of that stand, and I would know if deer are moving by there daily, because it would trigger to you. But as I said, in the last half a year, 6 months of its life, it just didn't work. It wasn't doing what it was supposed to do and what I used it for. So it is worth it when it's working, but to pay $150 for a camera and then at the very least $5 a month to run it year round, and then it doesn't work after 3 years. So the monthly plan, I look at it as an investment almost in the camera, but that's not necessarily the case. So you can decide based on my honest opinion. So I have 4 cameras total. I have 2 coming up. This will be the 3rd season I'm using them, and then the other one is the 2nd season. Another thing that happened with this camera is after about 2 years of use, the picture quality went way down. It was more and more, it was increasingly difficult to figure out, like if it was in the foreground, if you know it was a deer. I mean, you see this big brown thing, but there's no detail whatsoever. Everything is sort of blurred together. And then in the background, you really had to zoom, like you had to look at it on your phone or your computer, and you had to really zoom in, and then it's almost like picking and choosing. Like you really didn't know what you were looking at until you maybe you would have to like use a previous picture that you knew was a blank picture that nothing was in, and then you could see an outline of something. I found that the trigger speed, everything got less. Everything deteriorated. I guess that's the best way to put it. And it just didn't work excellent anymore. A lot of the other game cameras that I have, like the Wild Game Innovations, I really like the Terra series of those. They'll last with upwards of 4 or 5 years, which is a little less than this. I mean, excuse me, a little more than this. But they're also $40. And when they break, they break. They just stop working. Not so much the case with this. It's just slowly deteriorated, as opposed to the other manufacturers that I've had that aren't cell cameras. They just stop working one day. They don't malfunction or misbehave or anything. So that's what I have for you. Hopefully it's helpful to you. You'll have to decide whether or not it's worth it for you. What I'll do is I'll do updates on my channel of the other cameras also, when they stop working, not necessarily when they're working correctly. No news is good news with that. So that's what I have for you with the SpyPoint MicroLink. Subscribe to the channel if you like this content. Like some of my videos and make some comments. I want to hear what you have to say. All right? I'll see you guys later. Be well. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And if you've subscribed, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It helps out a ton. All right? Be well.